As the weather warms and consumers consider spring and summer travel, they're going to find a significantly different consumer electronics market for navigation devices. Late last year, Google roiled the navigation business by deploying a free, very powerful by-turn navigation tool that essentially would replace expensive for-pay models. The speculation was, and I joined them, that this would put an end to the mapping business as we knew it. But it didn't happen that way. Well, it turned out that, yes, Google offered a relatively powerful navigation engine, but it could be relatively clumsy to use, particularly when driving fast on a highway. It could be difficult to find things, difficult to control. I found it in my testing. It didn't interface well with the telephony side of the cell phone, and it opened the door for a new round of competitors to come in and innovate. The first round of competitors came right here on the Google App Marketplace. Developers were very quick to develop applications that addressed Google's shortcomings. We tested a couple of them. One right here is Wise Pilot. Let's take a look. This works on any Android phone, presents a much easier to use interfaces, and I find, very powerful mapping tools, a lot easier to use at speed. This is a relatively easy to use tool that competes step for step with Google. Nice looking maps, nice fast crawling speeds, works. It's a little bit easier to use when you're driving at speed. But if you're finding Google Maps at all frustrating to use, this is a perfectly good alternative. The next round of competition came from the GPS navigation makers themselves. Here's the Garmin Nuvei 1690, and see what they did. I thought this was really pretty clever. They added Google Search. That's right, they struck a deal with AT&T. This is on AT&T's slow cell network. And you have pretty much all the Google search functions you would need. And let me tell you something, this is surprisingly robust, surprisingly accurate, and there's no beating the ease of use and simplicity of driving instructions on a map like this. Now, the only slam against this unit is that it is $500 nearly list price. So pricing is going to have to drop for this to be, a major use device. But you want to be looking for advanced features when you're shopping for GPS this spring. The next round of competition came from a new generation of portable nav add-ons. This is from Dual. This is their GPS Cradle. This is a $150 device. Now, take a look at this. This is an iPod Touch. Slides right in, not available on the iPhone, just on the Touch. And guess what? It puts a GPS functionality into this device, and it runs its own app. You have to get it from the iTunes store. It's a pretty big download. It's about almost 2 gigs, so it takes up some space on the phone, which is an issue with it. And what you wind up with is a very kind of Apple-friendly nav experience that turns this, basically non-connected iPod into a legitimate nav tool. And I got to tell you, in my testing, this was a relatively decent way to navigate. Very easy to use in the car. Not a bad tool at all. It's $150 for this item. Now, obviously, the market for next-generation navigation tools is only going to heat up. Google is committed to mapping as a way of driving its local search business, and the competitors are only going to come back with other products. But what I find very interesting here is look how effective traditional paper maps are. What a great way for displaying spatial information. It's easy, it's fast to read, it's cheap, it needs no backup. And as you travel this spring, be sure to take a look at your paper map alternatives. I'm Jonathan Bloom at the Hagstrom Map and Travel Center here in New York City.